Welcome, everybody. I have with me John Golobic, who is a local Albuquerque trumpet player and who has been here for quite a while. And we're going to talk about that because I know, John, that this is not your main profession. Welcome, John. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I've always get mixed results when we do these things. Some people are extremely excited and some people are kind of like, well, I'm not sure why I'm doing this, but that's okay. So you're from, you are here in Albuquerque and you've been here for quite a while, but you're originally from California, right? Where in California?
That's correct. I was born in Inglewood, California, home of the Los Angeles Lakers now, and I believe that the Los Angeles Rams football team also built the stadium right there in that general vicinity.
Right, SoFi.
Yeah, so we left many years ago in 1960. My father had a great job there working with Boeing aircraft, and we had a big earthquake, and my mother said, that's it, we're done, we're out. And we left, and that was the end of being in California. They started out headed east and saw Albuquerque, saw the mountains and loved it and stopped here. No job, no house, no nothing, and I've been here ever since.
Well, now I know why you came to Albuquerque. So if you don't mind me asking, so what school, how old were you when you got here in 60?
I was 3 years old.
Oh, so see, you're not that much older than I am. So you got here in 60, and so what school did you attend here in Albuquerque then? Which high school?
So I went to started in elementary school at Aztec Elementary, went to Madison Middle School and El Dorado High School, and continued on. I was one of the first to graduate from El Dorado way back when it was a brand new school. And I actually played Little League Baseball on the site where El Dorado High School now is. They moved our Little League from there and built a high school there. So that's how old I am. I've been around for a long time.
Well, see, now, if it makes you feel any better, when we moved out here, there was nothing on the north side of town. So I understand where you're coming from.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Boy, has it changed. So now we know when you came and we know why, and you attended University of New Mexico, right? And it wasn't for music, obviously. You majored in what? What did you finish UNM graduating with?
I was a biology major with my focus in microbiology, and I continued on and had a career in microbiology for the last 42 years. I've been a microbiologist and actually retired, but a buddy of mine, I'll bore you with a story. Buddy of mine, we'd worked together for 40 years and we'd go to lunch once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever, after I'd retired. And he goes, you want to come back and work? I said, no. He goes, you want to work part-time? I said, no, I'm good. And he asked me, he goes, do you want to work PRN, which is as we need you? And I said, no, I'm still good. He goes, okay, I'll tell him you will. And so I go back and work for him. I help him out every once in a while. So there's my long, stupid story.
Yeah, no, it's not stupid. I think it's great. So at least you had the option if you wanted to. Obviously, he didn't give you much of an option, did he?
No, he did not. Well, he kind of did, but that ended real fast. He says, no, I'll tell him you're coming back, and that's fine. And so I've done that, and it gives me what I call pizza money and golf money. You know, I work every so often, and it's fun. It keeps me in the game, so I enjoy it.
So when you were at UNM and you were majoring in microbiology or biology in general, because I understand that, were you involved in the music program at all?
I went to school in 75 and graduated in 79. Harold Van Winkle was the band director at the time. Yeah, that's also another story. I'm nothing but stories, and I apologize for that. Okay. So when I got out of high school, I didn't understand. My buddies and I, we were not as savvy on the scholarship thing that goes on in college. And so I went there, and when I graduated from high school, I won a scholarship of some sort from El Dorado for being one of the top music people there. And so they gave that to me. And then I went on to UNM thinking, well, this is great. I got this. And they gave me a scholarship also. And so the first year I played in the jazz band, played in the marching band, and took all my science classes and everything else to get going. After the first semester, I signed up only for jazz band, and I was playing in the pep band at UNM. And they said, "You're not taking very many music courses." And I said, "Well, no, I'm a biology major." So they took away my my scholarship, and I had to pay for the rest of my college on my own. I didn't understand. I thought a scholarship was a scholarship, and boy, was I schooled on that right away. And
Yeah,
so I got one semester free, and then I had to pay for the rest of my schooling.
That's okay. So you're a clinical microbiologist by trade, and you said you retired after 42 years. Is that correct?
Yeah. I retired after about 38 years,
Oh, okay.
and I've been back working
Right.
from then.
Okay, so you're a trumpet player by hobby, and it's what I assume keeps you sane, right?
Yes. So another long story is I can only give you, and I will bore you with these. So when I was in college, when I got to be a junior, I figured, man, I got to study more and less music, because marching band and all those other things took a lot of time, especially trying to keep your chops up. So I no longer played from that time for about the next 20 years. I put the horn down, did not touch it, left it in the bedroom, did all that good stuff. And I was playing, once I got out of school, I got a job, and I was playing with a very competitive softball team. We traveled the Southwest and played about 180 games a year. We enjoyed it, and we played for a company called Big J Enterprises, which, if you've been here long enough,
construction company, right?
And it was owned by Gary Johnson,
right.
Governor Gary Johnson, and we all figured when he became governor, if we'd have known he was going to be governor, we'd have been nicer to him when he was playing on our team. But that's another story. So yeah, I grew up with Gary. I knew him forever and ever and ever. Know his sister. Went to school with his sister, and she married one of the guys on our team, and we've all been friends ever since we were very small in elementary school. So I started blowing some notes in my room again when I got too fat, too old, and too beat up to continue playing softball. I went and needed something to take some of my time, so I started blowing notes in the bedroom and started practicing. And then my buddy, the same one who got me the job back, one day asked, he goes, "You've been practicing, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah." And being the trumpet player that I am, and I sound damn good. You know, you've never met a trumpet player who doesn't sound good in his own head. So I was there, and he goes, "We need a second trumpet player for this gig at his church. Would I play?" I said, "Absolutely." Well, I'd been practicing for about 6 months, and I was doing okay. Well, I go there, and there's most of the people there are from the New Mexico Symphony Orchestra, and the principal trumpet from the New Mexico Symphony is there. His name's Bob Dorr. And so I'm sitting next to him, and oh my goodness, what a sound that guy had. It was so sweet. It about made me cry. And I'm sitting next to him thinking, oh boy, was I wrong on how good I am. One thing that I've learned in my entire life is that I'm easily humbled by other people's greatness, and music is no different. And that was certainly a humbling experience.
But it makes you, when that happens, that takes you up to the next level.
It does. And I started taking lessons from Bob, and did that until he went off he's now in Minnesota. He plays with the Minnesota Symphony, and did that for a long time. And so it all started from there.
Who is this buddy of yours that has gotten you, is he also a trumpet player? Who is this other guy, a friend of yours?
He is not. This is the same guy that I've worked with for 40 years. He and I have been good friends, and he just happened to go to this church. His name is Dean Madison, and Dean has been my buddy forever and ever and ever. And he did it. He's the one who got me in touch with Bob, and and the rest is kind of history. I started with that was a Civil War band.
Oh, it's still here.
Oh yeah, the Territorial Brass Band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started with them before I got with the Symphony of Albuquerque. One day, it was Ralph Harris was in charge of that, the leader of that, and he called me up. And he says, actually, he called Bob Dorr and says, "Do you know any trumpet players?" And Dorr gave him my number, and he called me and said, "Do you want to play?" I said, "Sure, why not?" I didn't, and I go out there and I'm playing an E flat horn that is a circular horn that blows straight up into the air. First of all, I never played an E flat horn. I couldn't find pitch if I had to. It was like blowing through a hose. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever done. And I played with them for quite some time. And then while I was doing that, they got my name from the Symphony of Albuquerque, and I played with them for probably 8 years or so. And while I was playing with them, I don't know if you want me to continue on with
yeah, please.
So while I was playing with them, we were short a trumpet player, and they asked Joe Walters from the Albuquerque Philharmonic to come and fill in. And so we started playing, and he filled in for a few concerts. And one day he goes, "We need a trumpet player. Can you play? Do you have a piccolo trumpet?" I said, "I did." And he says, "We're playing La Rejuvenensis from Water Music. Can you play that?" I said, "Yeah, I've played that before." And so I went there and went to a rehearsal, and that was the only piece I was going to play on. And he started off, he was playing the lead, and I was playing second, and we played it. And David Fellberg was the conductor, and he looks back and goes, who are you?" And because people come and go, and I told him my name. He says, "Would you like to play with us?" And I said, "Yes, thank you." And so that's how I got into it. And I've been ever since.
And when was that? When were you officially, so to speak, invited to play on a regular basis?
That's probably been 10, 12, 14 years, something like that. It's been quite a while ago. I don't know exactly when that is.
Okay, and you still play with the Albuquerque Philharmonic, and that's under the conductorship of who now?
Byron Harrington is conducting that, and he's wonderful. David Fellberg was incredible. He's a great, and he's a violin player, fiddle player, and so he was very good and just incredible. Byron Harrington plays trombone with the New Mexico Symphony, and it's so nice having a brass player because they understand us in the back. With David, he was great and it was wonderful. But every once in a while, you have a piece that has these high C's, and he play this high C, and so you nail the high C. Okay, play it softer. So you play it softer. Okay, play it softer and play it in tune. Which do you want?
Yeah, you can make up your mind.
Pick one. Okay, so now play it softer, play it in tune, and now put a crescendo on it, a decrescendo, and it's like, I've been playing this high C for the last 5 minutes. It ain't going to get any better. I'm sorry. And he was wonderful, but he just didn't understand. There's a chop limit. And Byron goes, "Okay, you got a high C. Try to play it in tune. Don't play it now. Just hit it for me when I need it."
And it does make a difference when you have I play in the Albuquerque concert band, and John Sanks is our conductor. And John understands brass players. And I understand that sometimes there are issues, but for the most part, he's very understanding of how and what we can do and what our limitations are. And that to me makes a big difference. So I understand that. And Byron's a very nice guy. I've worked with him a couple of times. Very, very nice, excellent trombone player.
Oh, ridiculously good.
Yeah. Now, you also play with the Concordia of Santa Fe, which is be more specific, because the Concordia is different than the Santa Fe Symphony. So what is the Concordia?
Concordia is a wind symphony. It is just the wind symphony up at Santa Fe, and it's a group of people where, man, when I'm on stage, the IQ goes down appreciably. Those guys, they all work at Sandia Labs or up there in Los Alamos and all that. They're all PhD physicists, and so they are just you know, really, really great people, and there's a lot of musicians, and it's a great group. And the way that works is there's no conductor that we have. Instead, what we do is what the group does is goes out and they will get a conductor from some university to come and conduct our group 4 times a year. 3 to 4 times a year, and they send out the music. We rehearse on Thursday, Friday, all day on Saturday, and we put on a concert on Sunday. And these folks come out, and they're all from all over. We've had them from Eastman to Kansas, from Texas, from New Mexico State, from UNM. Unfortunately, the passing of Dr. Rumbaugh happened, but he also conducted us up there. So we've had conductors from all over the place, and they love coming. They've heard about it and they want to come. A, it's Santa Fe,
Right.
you know, so you get a trip to Santa Fe, and B, they've heard about the group, and it's a fascinating group that plays just again ridiculously good. To coin a phrase that I use a lot, they do an incredible job, and just incredible musicians all the way around.
So how many times a year do you guys do concerts up there for the Concordia?
Usually it's 3 to 4 times a year. COVID has slowed that down. We did our first one a couple months ago, and that was nice to get the group back together. And it was a great concert, and it had a nice following of folks that came out and listened to us, and it was very good. We perform at one of the museums that's right off of the plaza up there in Santa Fe.
Okay.
And
Okay. And so now you also do a lot of work with brass quintets, right? Is it a particular brass quintet that you work with, or do you just do a lot of subbing, or what?
Yes. I also play with the Chamber Chops. We've got a group called Chamber Chops, and it's not a group, but what we do in that organization is we go and try to get we have 4 concerts a year, and we try to get 4 different groups to perform a piece. Try to have the concert go maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And you know, it'll be a brass quintet, and we try not to have the same groups perform more than once a year, so that we can mix it up and give everybody in Albuquerque an opportunity to come and either bring their group that they play with, or B, get a group together. And so with that being said, I play with various groups of brass people or whatever's going on for that. Sometimes it's brass quintet, and it may be different people than in the brass quintet that I played with before. And you mentioned John Sanks. I played in a brass choir with him for that group right before the COVID hit, and we did Alleluia, Whitaker's Alleluia, and there were about 12, 14 brass, something like that. It was absolutely wonderful. It was just a stunning group and a great performance. And so, you know, that varies. And I play with another bunch of folks.
So I have a question for you. So and I asked this to someone not too long ago, and they gave me a really unique one. What's the most unique gig that you have done, either high profile or just plain old weird? Is there any particular one that you can tell me about? Because most trumpet players have weird stories. Which one? Tell me about one that you think would be the weird or the most unique one.
Well, the most unique is when I was playing with the Civil War Band, when I was playing with those folks, we played for President Bill Clinton when he came to Albuquerque.
Okay.
He came to town, and he was going to give a speech down on the plaza. And so they asked, I don't know who asked, I don't know how they got in touch, but they asked if we would be out there and be the entertainment before and after him arriving. And we said, sure. So we were there, and we had to give them our instruments a week before. And they went through them, they tested them for bombs and everything else. And when we got to where we were supposed to be, our horns were there. Everything was all ready for us. The seats were there, and we had horns right next to our seats. just absolutely incredible. And we were.
I understand it, but that's pretty funny that you didn't even, they had to scan your instruments, but I guess because it's a sitting president, they have to be, you know, the CIA and the Secret Service are going to be as careful as possible.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And when we got there, we had a Secret Service man that was assigned to us. And so he checked us over. We went through, had to go through all the metal detectors and all that. And he was there, and he was the coolest guy. And he was telling us everything that was going on from, okay, this is what's going to happen. The president's going to roll, and then it's going to happen. And before he goes, you'll have the bomb sniffing dogs will be all over the place. And they had guys on with guns up on the buildings. It was incredible. And so he's there and he's talking to us and having a good time, and just he saw that we were, you know, we play a little bit and then he would hang with us. And all of a sudden the guy came to attention. He goes, the president is rolling. And so we were like, well, that's cool. I wonder where he's going to park. Well, he parked probably maybe 30 yards, 20 yards away from us, because we were right up at the stage, and he parked directly behind. And the most incredible thing is he had in front of him was a car with agents, and they jumped out of the car as it was moving, as he was coming in. They jumped out. That car continued forward, and they took positions, 5 positions. 4 of them jumped out, and then the 5th one jumped out in the front, and they took positions. And they did not look back at the president's car or anything. They were looking everywhere else. President's car came in right behind them and right in between them and stopped there. And they waited he sat in the car until they gave him the okay to get out. So we were, you know, very close to the president. He was just sitting there and he waved to us and all that kind of stuff. The coolest thing I've ever done. And what a charismatic man. You know, I never thought that much about it. And, but he was quite charismatic, and, it was easy to see how people would follow him and vote for him once you got to see him live and in color.
Yeah, and he was a very charismatic person. So,
yeah.
So I'm curious that you have some upcoming performances. What do you have upcoming that you want? I know you have some upcoming performances this summer. I'm sure you have performances with the Philharmonic. What other gigs would you like to mention so that people can look out for them?
Yeah, there's a wind orchestra that is starting in Albuquerque. I was with them for their inaugural performance way back when, and then again, COVID hit. It's called New Eventi. It's a wind orchestra. They're going to have a performance sometime coming up in June.
What else? What else do you have coming up?
Also, there's the Albuquerque Philharmonic will be having our summer concert where we rehearse for a couple weeks, and then we will put on. It's kind of a smaller. It's not a full-scale orchestral type concert, and this one's going to have some brass and then some orchestral type music with strings and everything else. And that also is coming up in June. And of course, I don't know those dates either. It'll be towards June. But if you go to the Albuquerque Philharmonic website, they will have all that information.
So let's wrap this up. John, I want to thank you for joining me today. You're a very interesting character. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy, and I appreciate everything that you've given to the city so far. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time.